Hello, welcome to Foyr Talks. My name is Rachel. Going to give it a few minutes to let people join and then we will get started. In the meantime, I'm going to add our guest. Hi, welcome. Welcome, guys. Welcome to Foyr Talks. My name is Rachel. Today we are going to be talking with Kristy Patterson. She is a residential and commercial interior designer based out of Maryland. She's also a DIY extraordinaire. Hey, welcome. And we're going to be talking about her journey as a second career interior designer and how she found Foyr. I'm also a designer, so hopefully this generates some really good conversation. I'm going to add her now and we'll jump right in, okay? Hey guys. One second. So as we go, I'm just getting Kristy joining now. As we go, if you have any questions, add them to the comment box or to the Q&A. Hey, Kristy.
Hey, how are you, Rachel?
I'm good. How are you?
Great, thank you.
Awesome. So I just gave your intro, very brief intro as to who you are. I don't know if you saw it, so that we can jump right in. Hey guys, welcome, welcome. So just to reiterate for those of you who just joined, this is Kristy Patterson. She is a residential and commercial designer based out of Maryland. She's a DIY extraordinaire. If you haven't checked her out on her Instagram, you are at a home's journey _ in between those words.
Yep.
Add that to the comments at some point so people can find you and check out your work. So thanks again so much for joining, and let's jump right in. You guys
awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. So to start, tell us a little bit more about you. First of all, how did you make the switch into the design industry, and how did you find Foyr?
Yes, great questions. So my background is working in the corporate world. I spent 15 years working for a technology company and had, two little kids, decided I needed to take a break, and have always had that love and passion for interior design. And, being self-motivated, I said, you know what, I'm going to start my business. And I wasn't terribly serious about it. I was dabbling in it. Really, we moved into a new home, so I was focusing on that. And as friends and family began to see what I was doing in my own home, they said, wow, like, could you help me do this and help me redesign that? And I had a client who wanted me to redesign her closet. She had an addition built onto her home, and it was like a walk-in. I mean, it's amazing, amazing closet. And she says, make it special, make it blow me away. And so I had this amazing idea, but then I thought, oh my gosh, like, how do I communicate what I'm thinking up here and make it make sense to her and really have that impact? And so I ended up outsourcing the rendering because I didn't know about Foyr at the time, or Neo. And as I then got another client, and mind you, like, it was so impactful, the renderings that I did provide her, I thought, wow, like, this is gonna be what makes my business. And so I went on and I started trying to teach myself SketchUp, and I looked at AutoCAD, and I was, again, coming from the technology world, I'm not illiterate, but it was so far beyond what I was capable of. And I thought, I need something that is.
Oh, we lost you for just.
I Google searched it and I found it, and I found Foyr. I signed up for the 14-day trial, and within 20 minutes, I knew that this was the software for me, and I was able to build a room, and I was off and running. And so it has been it's been a game changer for my business, honestly.
Awesome. And just out of curiosity, how long do you feel like it took for you to become proficient in Foyr, teaching yourself for the most part?
I would say 2 different design projects. The first one, I was playing around with it. The second one, I had another client request a closet for me, and I did that. And I now look back and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I could do so much better. However, I did have questions, and there were some elements that I needed help with, and I reached out to the technical team, and They were so great with their support and taught me, you know, the little tricks of the trade. And by my third project, I was off and running.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I feel like we are the same person transplanted into different bodies because we have such a similar background story. I also came into the design industry as a second career about 4 years ago. I was previously a teacher, had my daughter, was home, and decided to make the switch to just something that I was really passionate about. But for me, I thought I didn't have the technical background at that time. So I didn't even know renders were a thing. I just started taking some online courses and the word rendering kept coming up. And I was like, okay, I can this. And knew that I couldn't draw. I could not draw. It was in the middle of COVID, so we were home, and I was like, how am I going to build a portfolio? I need to be able to build a portfolio. Rendering kept coming up. So then I started doing the search, and I had the same exact challenges that you had, which was a lot of the software that were out there, just the learning curve was so steep that it was overwhelming for me. A lot of these software are being taught in universities, and you're taught over the course of 4 to 6 years, right? Because it takes that amount of time to become proficient. But for second career designers, that's not really an option, right? We don't have 6 years to stay before we're launching, right? And bringing in income. So I similarly came across the software, and of course now, you know, fast forward almost 3 years and I work for the company, but yeah, very similar stories. So tell me about, you're doing residential and commercial, but that's kind of one side of your business, right? You also offer your rendering services now. Is that something that you, so to other design firms, to builders, what does that side of your business look like? And I would assume you're using Foyr for all of that process as well, right?
Foyr is my go-to platform. So that's the only thing that I use when I create my designs. So you're correct. I have a residential element to my business where I offer full service interior design and would go in and, you know, redo somebody's bathroom or living space, whatever it may be, build that out in Foyr and present it to them that way. I have also had homeowners request just renderings, and they're like, I know what I want, but I need to make sure it works. And I don't know how to communicate this to my general contractor. Can you do this? And so I've done that as well. But I've also found in the commercial space, there are a couple different lines of businesses that are really benefiting from renderings. And for me, it's commercial property managers. So those folks are leasing buildings and space that they own to tenants. And in order for them to really communicate how this would be an amazing space for that tenant to lease, they need to say, here's what it's going to look like. And so they create building plans, and it's sort of like that cherry on top to close the deal for them. So I've worked with building or property managers on that. And then on the other side of it, it's somebody knows that they want that space. They're a business owner, and they need to create this, you know, groundswell of excitement and have a press release around their new business that they're launching. And so they need something to show the community and to show within the newspapers and on the TV stations. And so the most recent client that I had, they're launching a pickleball facility. And so they have a 23,000 square foot, 7-court pickleball facility. And he said, here's my building plans. Can you please make this come to life? And so it has been, and I just talked to him.
By the way, I saw the renderings for that setup. They're exceptional.
Oh, thank you. Really. I mean, you know what? The software makes it easy, honestly. And I did have some questions, and, you know, the technical team got on, and I think with the virtual walkthrough, I crashed the system because I had so many little cameras. But I almost feel like, you know, when you put your business in the hands of another company, it's really important that it works and they're there to help you. And I have had nothing but a great experience with the team when I do have those questions. And so I mean, back to that business owner, he's like, the ROI on these renderings have been fantastic. So, you know, helping others become successful with their business and just doing what you love is really exciting, and seeing what you create, you know, help somebody else has been really fulfilling.
Yeah. And there's so many things I want to say to your different points that you made. First, from early on when you started speaking, was that we forget as creatives, as creative minded people, that our customers or our clients are not that way, right? They're hiring a designer because they don't have the vision.
Correct.
So this is such a powerful tool, and I can talk to you about a project that a full service project that I'm doing in Queens right now, where having the 3D renderings, we've gone through I think 4 iterations of one room, and it's been invaluable because I think they've lived in a space for 27 years. They're approaching retirement. They have not changed their home in 27 years, and now they want the change, but the change is also scary.
Yeah.
So having the comfort of being able to see exactly what they're getting, and then make those tweaks, or say, hey, let's swap in this rug, or let's, you know, what this would look like, makes them so much more comfortable in actually, you know, saying, okay, let's make that purchase, let's make these, right? So it's protection for you as a designer to say, like, here's the vision, here's what it's going to look like. It really helps to make the sale, even if you're looking to increase the budget a little bit. You know, maybe somebody's on the fence with just a mood board, but then once they see it turned into a rendering, they're like, okay, yes, I'm sold on this, right? So the part of the sales process as well. But gosh, where was I going with this? After that, we'll get into other projects in a second. But yeah, there's an incredible amount of value in just the visualization for working for, but it's not just about the interior design. And I think especially for people who are coming in as second career, which is the majority of the Foyr demographic. And guys, if this sounds like you, or if we're describing you right now, let us know in the comments, because I really want to know how many people who are joining are starting design as a second career. How many of you, you know, just graduated college with a degree? I'm really interested to hear what the demographic is that's on today. But it's so important when you're a small business owner or a new business owner to have multiple streams of revenue coming in, right? And that's something that for me, the software has made really easy, because just like you, I'm able to offer services not just as a designer, but as a 3D rendering artist, right? So I essentially wear 2 hats. I'm a rendering artist and I'm a designer. So I might work in residential properties, but then I'm also marketable to builders, to realtors who need spaces virtually staged. That opens me up to all of US and Canada, right? Because of where I'm it opens me up to design only projects so that I can increase my reach, right? All of these things that wouldn't be possible if I didn't have this particular technical skill set.
Correct.
So for those of you who are wondering, I saw one of the questions pop up about like, what really are the benefits? One, you're not just opening yourself up to being able to design for people and give them the visualization. You are becoming a rendering artist in the process of becoming proficient in the software. And I know from teaching myself the software and also working for the company for years that we have one of the lowest learning curves of any software out there. Because I was in the same position as you. I was trying, you know, Chief Architect and SketchUp and trying to learn Revit and AutoCAD, and just being so overwhelmed with the process that I felt like I was never going to get started, right? And that's what I needed to do.
Right. And I would say at this point, you know, if you aren't including renderings as a designer to your clients, you're kind of missing the boat, because there's a lot of other interior designers who are, or, you know, you're competing against those firms or the Havenleys of the world that they can just go online for $99. And, you know, there's a lot of benefits of working directly with a designer. And I would say like that has to be something as part of your portfolio, and then you're offering to your client, that has to be included.
Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. So tell me about another project. Just walk me through the process and what. So we obviously know that Foyr is a rendering software, but there's a lot of other tools within the software that people don't always know about when I start to speak to them about, what their needs are. Like elevations is something that we
Mm-hmm.
offer now. Mood boarding, you can build within the software. It's something that I use all the time. It's a feature called Create New Product. So how much of that have you had a chance to explore in your projects because you're also build yourself, right?
Right.
Work is incredible. How are you using those tools? Like, are you using Create New Product
Yes.
to create those builds? And
Yes.
are you creating elevations for yourself or for other
Yep.
builders?
So I would say create new product is definitely something that I take advantage of. You're not going to always find that one piece that you're looking for. If you have it in mind, and it is a retail product, but it's not a part of the gallery that Foyr offers, you can just, request it to be converted into a 3D model. And within 24 hours, there's the sofa that you want. And for me, I have found that, again, that's another stream of revenue for me because I'm going to recommend certain designs or furnishings for a client. And I can then take those elements and create a purchase list. And oh, by the way, I've got trade accounts. And so, I can make money off of recommending certain things to go within my design as well. So that's, again, another layer of revenue. But when I'm working on creating, which I'm kind of offline doing my bedroom, right? And so I need to create this wall of built-ins. And so I'm able to really figure out and design and, get very specific with the measurements of what that's going to look like. And so having the ability to, move and there's a lot to it, but yes, it's been really, really beneficial. So I would say those two things are probably the biggest things that I use. And then, having the ability to, again, put together like a floor plan, a 2D plan for the customer or the client, and providing that as well is just, good business, I would say.
Yeah. And having that technicality, I think. So I was a part of Foyr before we had some of these features like elevations, and it's just continuing to elevate and compete with other software in the industry, but while maintaining that approachability, which I really like and I think is really important and integral to who the company is and what the software is and who it's meant for. But to have create new products. So for those of you guys who don't know what I mean when I'm saying create new product, it's a feature within the software that allows you to create custom builds. So let's say I wanted to put, custom built-ins up against this wall behind me. I would be able to draft up this floor plan in the software and then manually draw out exactly what I want those built-ins to look like. If I want the shelves to be, 1.5 inches thick or whatever it may be, all of that super, super specific. And then I can shift over into elevation mode, map out all of the dimensions, and then I can print that out as a formal, elevation with all of my company information, all of the dimensions that are needed, hand it over to a general contractor, and then they can go ahead and, give me a quote or whatever it may be. And that's something that was really, I'm doing my first, so the project in Queens that I mentioned, that was huge for that project because we do have custom built-ins on 2 different walls in the space. And it was because of that feature being added to Foyr that I was even able to step into the full service realm, which was a game changer for me. So I'm able to be talking to general contractors and not just showing them a picture, a pretty picture of what I could do without the technical side of it. Now I'm able to say, here's what it's going to look like when it's done. Here are all of the measurements that you need. Here's my specification sheet. Can you please provide us with a quote?
Right.
And yeah.
And I was going to say, you could also flip that and think, and go into your local community and find those general contractors and those carpenters, the finished carpenters, and they're trying to find business. And so if they can come to the table with this exquisite design and say, here, you know, this is what I can build for you, and you're kind of in the background, and the customer doesn't feel like they're hiring a designer, but that carpenter is bringing design worthy renderings to them with those elevations, that's going to be very impactful for their business as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I saw some questions pop up, so I just want to make sure that we get them in because we've just 10 minutes left on our call. So I think some of you were just asking, how do you join? And I think there was a question about exterior renders that came up. Hi, everybody. So yes, you can do exterior renders. I actually recorded a webinar on exterior renders like a year ago. So you can check out our YouTube channel and just type in Foyr Neo exterior renders. You'll find a full hour-long webinar by me walking you through that entire process. Yes, it is possible. And also how to join. So, is there a free trial? Yes, there is always a 14-day free trial. No credit card is required. So do give it a try if you're on the fence. And right now, Foyr is offering a 50% discount on annual packages. So only a limited time. You're not going to want to miss that. The discount code is IG5, capital IG like Instagram, 50. So do head to foyr.com and enter that in so that you can get a steal, and you can still get your 14-day free trial before you start. Okay, so I hope that answers everyone's questions for that. So before we wrap up, because I know we're getting kind of to the end of it, were there any challenges that you feel like have been alleviated that we haven't already talked about through using the software, or anything that has come up in the middle of a project, or concerns from the client's perspective that have come up during the project that using the software was really helpful in mitigating?
You're always going to run into clients wanting to make changes, and you know, it's really difficult when you're drafting something and it's, you know, a drawing, let's say, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I got to start over. Whereas it is so easy to change the dimension of a space, or actually we want to build out a little bit farther. You know, having those abilities to just do things on the fly has been tremendous. Or, yes, I love this sofa and I love this whole setup. And then they're like, let's redo it, you know? And so having that opportunity to just, you know, turn it around in 24 hours. And, you know, I ran into that with my pickleball client. He wanted things to be different. And even though we had discussed it and agreed upon it previously. And so you just look like you're very flexible, and the turnaround time is exceptional. And I think the surprise and delight that you can then offer the client has, it really changes the relationship. And so then you become this value add to their business, and there's a trust there. So I would say, like, just having that ability to make things different on the fly and change it easily, and then click render, and in 5 minutes you have your image. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah. So this project that I'm working on now, I think I mentioned that they're like really just nervous about the change that's coming. One of the built-ins against the wall, we've gone through 4 different iterations of the built-ins. So the first thing was, we 1000% want to have custom built-ins. And I said, okay, let's have a discussion about budget, because things have changed in the last 27 years since you last had custom built-ins. Cost-wise, not comparable. And so what I was able to do was draft up the space, create the most expensive, like ideal dream custom built-ins with a peninsula desk that came out, because it was also going to be, you know, work from home space. And that was a good start, but I also wanted to show them different versions at different price points. Mm-hmm. And that's what I show them is hey, if you're really willing to make a larger investment, you can have whatever you want if you want to make the investment, but let me show you what that's going to look like. And then version number 2 was a scaled back version of those built-ins, no peninsula desk, just flush up against the wall built-ins, and then we'll purchase a desk separately. And then the third version was stock cabinetry from Home Depot that would have been, placed up against the wall with a simple, slab countertop. So we're still getting the benefit of the storage, but it's not that custom built, but it is also the most affordable option. So I was able to create one room one time, clone the project 3 times, and then create 3 different versions. So I wasn't creating version 1, version 2, version 3 from scratch or erasing work that I had already done and then replacing it with new work. I was just cloning the project, showing them all of these different price points. So it has given me a level of professionalism to my business as somebody who is a small business owner and partially kind of figuring it out as I go, right? And doing, my first full service project as opposed to design only or, virtual packages. And it's been a game changer in being able to do that and to be able to do it so easily without adding a ton of work time to my schedule. So yeah.
Right.
We have, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I saw one question come through and somebody was asking how long it takes to make the renders or take the renders. And so to answer that, as you have your design completed and you're ready and you found the right angle to take that snapshot of that that space, you essentially just click a button and it says take render, and then it processes. You get an email saying your render is ready for download, and I think the longest I've had to wait is 5 minutes. Yeah. So it is lightning fast, and if you're under the gun for a timeline, it's not something that you're going to have to wait hours for. So it's awesome.
Yeah. If the question was also just about like actually building up the floor plan and whatnot, that will vary depending on the level of complexity of the project and the square footage. But when you become proficient in it, drafting up a room, drafting up the walls of the room can take you, 20 minutes. And then from there, you're styling and furnishing the space and however long that takes you to make those selections, as a variable, of course, to consider. But the rendering process, it's behind the scenes as well. And it takes about, 5 minutes, but you can be working while the software is rendering, which is something that used to not be the case. It used to be that if you were rendering, it took hours, and B, you couldn't use the software while the rendering was happening.
Oh,
so
my.
You were shut off from work for 4 hours while like a single render would process. That was like original renders back in the day. Yeah.
I think we've come so far.
Yeah. Well, thank you. If you guys have any other questions, be sure to get them in now before. Thank you guys so much for joining. I'm going to scroll through and make sure I didn't miss anything here.
Yes, go get your free trial. Sign up.
Yeah, sign up. Don't miss out on the 50% off discount. It's not going to be around long, and that is an incredible offer.
Really is.
Kristy, before we log off, can you tell us again, where can we find you so that all of our guests tuning in today can give you a follow?
Yes. So you can find me on Instagram. That's my main social media channel. It's at A Homes Journey. So A_homes_journey. Or you can find me on my website, which is ahomesjourney.com. So I am so happy to have spent the 30 minutes with you guys and appreciate it. And I just can't speak highly enough about Foyr and the Neo product. So yeah.
It's a pleasure to have you guys. Do give me a follow as well at Rachel Acevedo Design. Would love to connect with you and hear about your journey or your questions with Foyr as well. So do that, and we'll see you guys at the next Foyr Talks. Kristy, thank you again.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Awesome. Bye, guys.
Bye.